Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching my 73rd narrated Wi-Fi battle. This is another match that I had with AshFanGirlLisa off my Twitter feed. If you all don't follow me on Twitter, if you guys are on Twitter, I suggest you follow me. I tweet a lot, mainly about Pokemon, sometimes about law school stuff, but mostly about Pokemon. Anyways though, there was a lot of stalling in this battle, so let's get straight into it. Because it was a good battle. I got to use almost an exclusively NU team against her Ash team. I started off with Hitmonlee just to get a fake out off to see what she would do, and she surprises me by going for the substitute, then going for the agility, and I brought in Corsola expecting a physical attack, and since she went for agility, I knew she would baton pass out. I did not think that she would go into Lapras when I went for Scald again, but she basically gets in for free there. I was really hoping that she would go for Thunderbolt on my Corsola, and she does, and I know that Lapras does not have good offensive stats, so I figured I could take it and mirror coat that right back in her face. And Corsola does a great job right here and almost kills that Lapras with a mirror coat. Not quite, it barely isn't there, but that's because Lapras has such a fantastic HP stat. That being said, I know that another Thunderbolt will take out my Corsola, and so I swap out into Dredagon, and I was hoping that she would overpredict here and hopefully go for an Ice Beam or something like that. And then I just stay in with a Sucker Punch and kill her off before she has a chance to. So Dredagon was a nice little bit of cleanup work right there. Expecting the Sleep Powder from Butterfree, I didn't have anything else that I wanted to go to sleep really. Dredagon is nice for the priority Sucker Punch, but if for some reason she tried to set up or do something like that, I had just stayed in and went for Fire Fang. Here she goes out to Sceptile. I needed to see what type of Sceptile it was, so I stayed in hoping for the Dragon Claw to at least get the rough skin off, but she goes for Dragon Pulse, gets a critical hit. That may have mattered because it's such a bulky Dredagon, but it probably didn't matter in the long run. Unfortunately, Avalon comes in here and gets attracted, which of course means you have a 50% chance of not attacking. Um, and that's what happens right there because she is faster than me. The Leaf Storm is not going to be quite enough to finish me off. This is an offensive Gardevoir, but Gardevoir has a very nice special defense stat. Um, and this, since it is an offensive one, I'm able to do a great deal of damage with the Psychic attack. And expecting another, either a Leaf Storm or some other special attack, I go out in an Arkham just to take it. Arkham and Corsola is actually a really great defensive wall with Arkham covering special hits, Corsola covering the physical ones. They share a weakness to electricity, but of course that's where you have other Pokemon on the team to pick up that synergy, such as Dredagon, to block those electric attacks. So in Inyu, that works out pretty well for this team. Of course, Leaf Storm and Energy Ball, those are not going to be doing very much to Arkham, as it is a special wall. So I do take this time to poison the Sceptile to get some residual damage going, and of course Roost to get my HP back up after I set up a Reflect. She just stays in and continues going for energy balls. I don't know that I really recommend that, because as you can see, Arkham is taking negligible damage from that. And with the Roost, that literally means I'm just going to heal off all the damage that she did, and her Sceptile goes down for really no reason. Which is kind of unfortunate based on how she was playing at the beginning of this battle, really aggressive. But maybe she just didn't have a good switch in there and didn't want to get toxic, I don't really know. But expecting another substitute from Swallow, I go back out into Corsola. I wanted to poison that thing really, really badly, but I knew she was probably just going to substitute it up. Here, not wanting her substitute broken, she immediately baton passes out to Pikachu. And since her Lapras is dead, I do not have to, fear anything going for the Scald. So Pikachu is going to be in, but it's not going to have a substitute up, which means it's a lot less threatening. And I know that she's probably just going to go straight for the safe Thunderbolt. Maybe the Grass Knot, but Thunderbolt will be better as Corsola is not actually that heavy. As you all know, Coral is pretty. It's not very dense, so it doesn't weigh as much. But Hitmonlee's decent special defense allows him to take that Thunderbolt very well. I went for the fake out just in case she brought out something to resist the fighting type attack, and she does do that. And knowing the special attack is incoming, I went back out into Noctowl, because that's what Arkham does. He takes special hits and he eats them for... Well, he doesn't eat them at all, he just takes them. Kind of like a football player, which is kind of cool. I really like Noctowl's design, and I'm happy to have finally trained one, because he doesn't really get that much play because of, the stealth walk weakness and pretty decently shallow move pool, but I really like his design and his usability. Corsola, of course, has regeneration for an ability, so that really helps his walling abilities and switching out so much. I do toxic she brings in the swallow on the expected guts from I'm sorry, the expected toxic from my Noctowl, which that's good because she gets a guts boost, but of course that's also bad because she's not going to be able to live very long, and I just leave Corsola in to recover up. She brings Butterfree back out to put something else back to sleep, and here I'm okay with letting Corsola fall asleep. I would prefer to have Corsola asleep than I would have Noctowl asleep, because most of the things she has left are special attackers. So at that point, it's going to be more useful to have my special wall against those special attackers. She begins going for the quiver dances here. Not really worried about it. And she also paralyzes my Noctowl, which is actually fine by me, because I can Psycho Shift that over to something on her side of the field if she brings out something that really needs that speed. So that could be the Charizard. I could have actually Psycho Shifted that over to Butterfree since it was quiver dancing up. But I think I opted for the Toxic just because the residual damage is good, as I neglected to breed Nightshade onto Noctowl, and so I just kind of had to put a filler in there for him to do damage. Um, but with all the quiver dances she's going for, I'm just really just stalling her out. Because I have no reason to switch on anything else, as Noctowl, even at plus 2 or 3, Bug Buzz is not going to do very much, and even if it did do a decent amount, I would be able to roost that damage off, barring being paralyzed. So, these Star Wars are a little bit annoying in battles, but I don't know about it. I kind of find it annoying when I have to sit in and stall like this, but sometimes it's a necessary evil. So I don't know what if you guys have any specific thoughts about stalling in matches. I'd be interested to hear because for the most part I don't like stalling. I like to play pretty offensive. But with the dual defensive core I brought to this match, it was actually kind of necessary to stall in order to make sure that my Pokemon stayed relatively safe. But eventually her Butterfree does go down, which is nice. That's no more things being put to sleep or paralyzed. Here she surprises me by going for a substitute with a Pikachu, which I did not see coming because she specifically baton passed the substitute earlier. So I made a weird play, I know here, and I swapped out into Corsola. I didn't have any way to break the substitute with my Noctowl. Of course, its only offensive moves are Toxic and Psycho Shift. And so I kind of just sent Corsola in to die here, maybe hoping to live a Thunderbolt, but after all those nasty plots, there's no way I'm going to live. So unfortunately, Corsola had to be sacrificed there to allow my Hitmonlee to come in here and break that substitute more easily. Now, of course, she is plus 4 right now with all the nasty plots that she got up. And a Thunderbolt is going to easily take out my Hitmonlee, but he was able to break the substitute, which means I can come back in with Gardevoir and take out that Pikachu, right? Because I'm fast, but I stupidly forgot about the speed tiers. I have most of the speed tiers memorized, but I could have just brought in Scolipede and Earthquaked it, but I wasn't paying attention, and Gardevoir is definitely several points slower than Pikachu. So that was a little bit stupid on my part. But fortunately, I do have Scolipede still. At this point, I have Scolipede and I have Arkham the Noctowl. And she brings out Charizard, whom I know is slower, but I did not want to risk her being scarfed or something, so I went back out into Arkham. Kind of needless stalling at this point, to be honest, because she goes for Focus Blast, which I thought was a little bit weird. She had a fire move, it probably would have done more damage. And I misclicked, and I Psycho Shifted the Paralysis over rather than Toxicking her, which is what I meant to do. Now this is significant because now that I accidentally put Paralysis on her, I can't Toxic her, which means I can't stall her out if I need to. And furthermore, if I switch in Scolipede on a turn where she decides to not get paralyzed and she goes for the fire move or the flying move and knocks out Scolipede, I've essentially lost the match because I'm not going to stall like that. She actually goes for Will-O-Wisp, which I thought was interesting, and burns my Scolipede, but with that 4 times weakness to rock type attacks, it's still not going to be enough, and she's going to get knocked out. So, Lisa, I enjoyed that match. I made a couple of misplays, but overall I got to use some good Pokemon that I haven't had a chance to use really before. And who doesn't like playing against an Ash team in different circumstances than using a Gary team? This will probably be my last upload before the new year, so I hope you all have a great new year, and I'll see you guys next year. Bye now.